TIV by telling my girlfriend I used an AI dating bot to chat with her. Remove. Looks like we're about to enter the dating exclusively through AI era. God help you single folks. We thought God had abandoned us long ago. We were fools. Honestly, the fact that they've spammed the same post across multiple subreddits suggests it's just trying to drum up attention for whatever AI app they're shilling. That's all. Seems like a pretty poor advert considering they broke up over lying in it. But you, sir, are too smart and won't fess up to using the AI bot to get a girlfriend. So it's the perfect ploy. You don't even need the S. That is literally their sales pitch. This is just the same seduce and destroy PUA type snake oil that's been sold to single dudes since the beginning of time. This time it has a new trendy AI spin. But still, the thought of people using bots to communicate for them is such a depressing feeling. Even when it comes to mundane short emails or chat exchanges at work, the idea that I might be interacting with a bot when I think I'm talking to a human is awful. 10 years into the marriage and they're still using the chatbot. The very idea of getting involved in a relationship is frankly terrifying to me, so I'm going to have to pass. It's like the game ads that show you the player that fails, but you might be able to do better. The answer is to keep lying until you fuck her, then move on to the next girl. These are the target audience, not the people looking for genuine connection. The only thing we target is engagement score. Doesn't matter if you have negative or positive engagement. It's doing great. We've already sold a narrative of a breakup with our app. Now we can storyboard other ideas targeting engagement. Good call. They aged the account by a year, farmed enough karma to not get screened out. Now they're selling people on the product. But what app is he shilling? I don't know that there necessarily is one yet. I think that the idea here, if original comment is correct, is to drum up a demand for the product before revealing the supply. There are obviously a lot of people who would like to date, be in a relationship, but don't want to go through the initial meeting and getting to know each other organically in person. That's partly why online dating has become what it has. I can imagine that some people, for various reasons, would probably feel more comfortable breaking the ice and getting through the first few messages if it was an app doing it for them. So if someone fit the above description and saw this post, they might look directly past the breakup aspect and think to themselves, wow, an AI app like that would make dating so much easier. Or something along those lines. I don't know how I'd feel if someone did that to me, and I don't know if I could ever see myself using AI for something like that. You could probably just do it with ChatGPT asking to role play or something. You type her answers and it gives you what to say. Yeah, and I think that would be objectively less weird or creepy. But in this day and age, I can see plenty of people jumping at the chance for an all-in-one AI app to do all of the initial work for them. These amazing, wacky AI had this consequence for me, are a relatively new but increasingly common category of post. I see one pretty much nightly, it seems, and yeah, they're definitely advertisements. They do at least usually mention the service, but maybe this one is burying the lead. I imagine OP's post itself was generated by AI. https://preview.red.it/a2jn4kvm7sc1.jpg ? Width equals 1200 and format equals pjpg and auto equals webp and s equals 8/1909 D3FD966080994C0F166BB3E7C70328D49. Oh, plus I don't care. If only we could have foreseen. Macron, is that you? The new gods may rise, but the old gods will endure. It turns out that he is still packing. Step 1. Have a make dating profile with minimally altered pictures of yourself that look more handsome. Step 2. Train AI to swipe right on women you find attractive. Step 3. Have AI chat with hundreds of women at once. Step 4. Profit. Greater than step 3. Have AI chat with hundreds of women at once. Okay, they're pretty good, but they can't work miracles yet. That part seems very easy. C. OP's post. I already did that before with mass messaging, because if a woman likes you, she'll make your messages make sense in her head even if they're non sequiturs. You can take over the conversation for real whenever you want, and it basically doesn't matter. Except your AI is chatting with their AI. Giggity. Okay, so what happens when girls follow the same process? AI will be chatting with AI. That's the beautiful part. Now we all have more time to spend alone watching Netflix and playing video games. Loudly crying, loudly crying, loudly crying. Step 5. Have the AI date them too? I can't wait to die alone. I just need to get a doggy and I'll feel better. Doggies make everything better. That's the lifestyle to go for. Doggy style all the way. Right now, my golden retriever is my main squeeze, and it's the least stressful relationship I've ever been in. Bit of a dead bedroom, but whatever. You can't have it all. When you said main squeeze, I got worried for a second. It's not going to be that much different from the dating because we have the same app installed and it said we should era. What if it's just I talking back and forth forever? It's probably better than any era previously, especially if the bot knows stuff about you. 500 years ago, you married one of the 3 people in your village. 100 years ago, your family set you up. 50 years ago, rom-coms distorted his relationships should work. 20 years ago, apps came on the scene, shifting the balance of power to superficial qualities. Now we might have a chance of restoring the natural order, where the bots convince people in the same ideological village to meet in person and they tee off. Motorcycles, weed, video games. Secret recipe to surviving being single for extended periods. I had a snowball's chance in hell. Now it's the sun. Just step out of your house and talk to people. Lol. Reddit acts as if the entire world lives in iPhones. They pretty much do, in my country at least. There is no interaction with others outside, except perhaps in a bar, party, or similar place. The only ones that tend to go there are specific types of extroverted people. Everyone says go to the gym and talk to people there, which is not a valid. Most people there, me included, are looking for peace and to focus on their workout. Joining group activities or a club isn't an option when there are none for the younger generations. Aside from that, there is the workplace, and everyone knows dating on the work floor doesn't tend to be a great idea. I have luckily come across my angel, but I know what it's like being single and searching. It does pretty much boil down to using apps and hoping for the best. I know I'm the kind of person that does go out, but I've used various apps for years and not once got a meaningful relationship out of them. In the meantime, I've had 3 fairly long-term partners and currently am in a new relationship, all of which I met in the real world. I don't even have hundreds of mates. I just go to the pub with a couple of mates and sometimes pull, and sometimes that works out into something else. https://mit-circ.pub/org/pub/i-companions-u-law/release/3. Here's an article I found interesting. Focused mostly on mental health but had AI dating aspects to it. If I'm ever single again, just put me out of my misery. I just want the eyes that meet other eyes and spin endlessly in the dark. Seducing each other can have good stories to tell of the loser humans they used to date. It's hard enough as it is. Why is it getting worse by the second? Back to the bars. Dude. Hot girls on dating apps have always been indistinguishable from a shitty AI chatbot with a 10-word vocabulary. Nothing new here for single guys to deal with. Hey, I wonder if we'll have complete AI avatars trained on our prior text communications and behavior do the bulk work for us. It feels so natural yet so very weird simultaneously. Great. Pensive face. This topic keeps getting brought up. I doubt this shit is real. I have to read your chat history. People like you are going to be shocked when you find out what AI can do today. Right now, this very moment. It's overwhelming how much of this stuff is unfortunately now very real in the year of our Lord 2024. That chat history? Yikes. Remove. Efficient. Why are you bothering with dating at all if these women are such an inconvenience to you? This comment convinced me it really is an ad for some dating. Ouch. I mean, using AI is intellectually equivalent to having a friend write your messages. Most people would find that fairly off-putting. And it's quite upsetting to realize that you weren't talking to who you thought you were for quite some time. Not a great start on the old trust front. I do get where you were coming from even if I wouldn't do it myself, and I'm proud of you for deciding to be honest about it, albeit a bit late. It was the right thing to do. Whoa, it's like a 21st century version of Cyrano de Bergerac. Roxanne. Someone is definitely writing this script right now. Please, I can't survive the inevitable C1R4N0 posters. Having your mates help write early messages is a pretty commonly done thing, no? There's a difference between helping someone write a message and writing the whole conversation. Of course, if he was basically copy and pasting what the AI said. In that case, he's an absolute fool for telling her. He's not a fool for telling her, but for doing it in the first place. Both, I'd say. It obviously worked, and they obviously had chemistry together since they've apparently been dating for months and it's been going well. He could have kept his mouth shut forever and mostly no harm would have been done. It's weird. But it's definitely not the weirdest thing men have done to try to start a relationship that ended up working out well. Seriously, entire plays have been written about it. See Cyrano de Bergerac. See Shakespeare. See Greek drama. See P. de Bergerac. Most of that doesn't end well. An AI can't be assassinated by a load of falling wood. Not asking for feedback on the message is one thing, but having them write it is much worse. And both of those are miles better than having a computer write it. Asking a friend shows that you care enough to put in effort with another person who you think knows better. Having a bot write it shows you don't give a fuck about building a connection. You just want the end result. Agreed that having a bot fully write it is pretty bad. I don't think there is much of a tangible difference, if any, between having a friend versus an AI help you though. One obviously feels icky, but it's not actually better or worse emo. Would be happy to hear why you think it is. I agree with you if you were using like GPT to help you articulate what you wanted to say better and still wrote the message yourself and meant what it said. That would be very similar to a friend giving advice or helping you write what you want to say. Help write is different from write, and even helping write is pretty much a no once you're not a high schooler anymore. No, WTF. If you're lame, soon people will train an AI dating bot, and when two bots click, their owners will just randomly go on a date with each other. Somebody needs to make that app right now. I'm afraid I messed up badly. You think you treated dating like it was some boring coding project that you farmed out to some dodgy guy on Fiverr. I can already imagine her telling her friends, those sparks I thought we had, was with fucking robot. He was pretty different when we actually met, but maybe it was just nerves. I'll see if I can get him to be more natural. And that's one of the biggest problems with modern dating. Sparks, created from nonsensical online personas and the minefield of potential mistakes in the messaging phase. Ops skipped that part and got to meeting her in real life. If only he had kept that to himself. Remove. You just Cyrano de Bergerac yourself. Nice reference. You're an idiot. Dumbass alert. Texting and messaging equals dating. Texting to build attraction is basically a skill game and not indicative of true personality or character. People have been using scripted openers and responses for as long as online dating has existed and well before. What really matters is in-person chemistry. He already said why in the very first sentence. Greater than what really matters is in-person chemistry. Completely worthless. Not only isn't this not actionable, it's not even applicable. They obviously already had that if they've been together for months. When I, 30s, was online dating a few years back, I would literally just open every time with, "Hey, how's it going?" or some variation of that, and then play off what they said. I'd get to, "So, what are you looking for on here?" within 10 messages, hopefully the same day. Then, after we agreed we're both looking for a date, I would ask to set a time and place to meet for something low-key like coffee or a beer. It worked way more frequently with way less effort and anxiety than swiping on someone. After reading a bio and messaging a good line that shows actual interest in who they are, like commenting on a pic, or asking about shared hobbies, etc. Getting to know someone is first date shit. You either have chemistry in that first interaction or it probably won't go anywhere, and that's a good thing. If you try to chat about hobbies over text for weeks, then you're killing that first interaction and your chance to get to know them in a way that they'll remember. 100% my experience as well. Too much talk, and especially investment, pre-first date never works. I would often even go on a date and forget what we talked about in the messages. The girl would call me out on it. I'd reply, "Who cares?" And that's it. Women alter their photos, put ton of makeup, wear clothing that hides imperfections to trick our visual Sansa at first sight. But we use AI to talk at first and it is end of the world. IDK. From an exterior point of view, it seems very in line with what Tinder seems to be. But it is, though. Trust Reddit to upvote the most useless, worthless shit ever as anything actionable. Next dumbass advice to spill out is, honesty is the best policy. The advice isn't not to use AI, it's to keep your damn trap shut. Of course, honesty is the best policy. I don't mean little white lies for the benefit of a partner like, "You look lovely," in a dress they like that you don't like. But in things that matter, honesty is the best policy in a relationship. A good, healthy relationship is built on trust. You can't build a relationship on a basis of, "Keep your damn trap shut." What Op did certainly didn't matter in the long haul, until he bought it up. Total self-inflicted wound. What if she also used a chatbot? You're a chatbot. Your mom's a chatbot. She should have sent you a CAPTCHA. I died laughing. This should be better rated. Bots can solve pretty much every CAPTCHA in common use at higher accuracy rates than humans these days. I, too, sometimes let a bot solve the CAPTCHAs for me. Can I just ask, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to talk to her yourself? Don't you want to see if you two are actually compatible? She probably feels like you used a cheat code to get into her pants, which it sounds like you did. It's good that you felt weird about it because that means you're not so far gone that you think this isn't weird behavior. You're in tech, so you must know about all the conversations about the uncanny valley that people discuss regarding AI, right? Keep that in mind. Tech bro who knows all about AI but hasn't read or thought a lick on the ethics of AI. Unfortunately, there are many of them. Beekeeper wishes he understood women like he understands bees. IQ might be there. EQ not so much. The reality is that with apps, dating is a numbers game, and just like the premium subscriptions for these dating apps, this was a tool to get his foot in the door. It doesn't make it right, but this is going to be a lot more frequent in the coming months, years. Edit. My mistake. I'm probably wrong. Nope, totally different. This is the equivalent of having your friend do your talking for you. If I found out that I hadn't actually been talking to the person I thought I was, I'd be super weirded out. This doesn't get you more numbers, either, since it doesn't increase visibility. All it does is trick the person you are talking to into thinking you have chemistry when you don't. And that's not helpful to anyone. After all, the entire point of dating is to find out if you're compatible, not to trick someone into thinking you are someone you're not. Cyrano de Bergerac. Cyrano de Bergerac. Yes, I'm just about to comment on this. Wasn't the lesson learned from the book something like, even though both men genuinely loved Roxanne, she had the right to know and choose? I don't really see what he did wrong. He needed help with an opening and got it. How is that any different than Googling pickup lines? Also well said. Empirically, it seems they did have chemistry since they had been dating for a while. And Ob says he only used the AI chatbot in the beginning. It's not like people's online personas, especially within dating apps, are entirely honest anyway. It's basically just automating the interview process. Except people have been having their friends help since texting has existed, and they dated for months, so clearly there was actual chemistry at some point. Did the AI bot actually do all the work, or did he just plug her messages in and use the AI bot to come up with responses? Because if it's the second, then I don't see a difference between that and asking friends for advice, which many people do. What? As a guy, you have to throw out so many messages to just get a few responses, so it is time-consuming to come up with a unique text for each one. So I would probably use the bot for the first 3 messages and then pop in the chat when I know they're interested in me. Greater than this doesn't get you more numbers, either, since it doesn't increase visibility. But it does help get the foot in the door. Having a match is already complicated enough, but keeping that match interest in the first approximately 10 messages is harder. I mean, the girl would have never known if he kept it to his grave. The girl eventually fell for the real him. Paying to get your profile more views is gaming the system. Having ChatGPT actually speak on your behalf is gaming the woman. Depends on how much you use the AI, though. If you just use it for the opener, I think that's more of a gray area. It's a bit dishonest, but it's not much different from Googling top 10 pickup lines or watching YouTube videos of pickup artists. More like an AI wingman than anything. However, past the first couple messages, it becomes akin to catfishing. Well, you're right that it's not much of a difference to watching YouTube videos of pickup artists, but I wouldn't use that as a defense. Who the fuck Googles pickup lines? Interrobang, holy shit, just look at their profile and ask them about one of their hobbies like a normal person. Every teenage boy with access to the internet, I'd imagine. My point is that society, in general, considers those things as morally gray, and using an AI to start a conversation is not really that different. None of them are particularly healthy or good, but they also aren't inherently evil. Teenage boys grow up and realize that women are people who deserve to be treated like one. Adult men who do this really should know better by now. Yeah, dude, I don't disagree. Dating isn't a job interview. This is just another form of catfishing. It might as well be a job interview anymore. Good point. It always has been, I guess. Well said. Talking to someone on an app isn't dating. It's trying to get to the date. After that, it's all up to the individual. It's a numbers game on getting matches, not the part where you actually start talking to someone. My God, I met my wife through OkCupid. We didn't fall in love with each other because we played a numbers game. We fell in love with each other because we were open and honest with one another, and we are highly compatible romantically, sexually, and in our preferred lifestyles. Not everyone is super witty, which is often needed on dating apps to get even a response back. This isn't that different than using an opener you saw online. I promise you it's not needed. I'm not particularly witty or funny, I just engage and treat people like equals. There's a whole lot of gray area between, hey, and literal fucking AI-generated conversation. You would use an opener you saw online? Yeah, just like 99% of everyone else. Even if you think what you're saying is unique, it's probably not. Why do you think pickup lines is a thing? You think 99% of other people are that unoriginal and inauthentic? Do you even interact with other humans? Pickup lines are pretty universally mocked by everyone I've ever known. Not 99% of people, though. That would be an insane claim to make about anything. If you think dating apps are about using witty lines to woo girls, then it's no surprise that you have issues. It's mostly about just providing personal details to get to know each other a bit and then asking them out to meet in person. When did I say I have issues? You're projecting a lot. And yeah, if you think that's how you're going to get a girl to respond back, then you're either very attractive or haven't ever tried. After you have her attention, I agree. But you have to differentiate yourself from the other 30 dudes messaging her in the beginning. I am honestly no better than average looking and I do fine with Hinge. Yet I get basically 0 matches on Tinder. You need good pictures, not necessarily be good looking, just clear photos showing that you are a fun person, and a good prompt or two. Exactly, he just used AI to get his resume to the top of the stack when it otherwise would have been ignored. Online dating is really difficult for average dudes. Women have so many options. You have to be witty and charming within the first few messages. Even worse, a lot of them expect these kind of replies when their own profile has scarce information about themselves. Even if you do find something interesting to talk about, or ask them a leading question, you're met with, yeah, or some fair one-word answer that leaves you nothing to work with. It's a nightmare out there, and average dudes have to take what advantages they can. As long as he didn't continue to use the AI and his partner seemed happy, I don't see the problem. Edit. It looks like Reddit hates the truth. I hope you call out women for wearing makeup and using filters in their profile pics too, because it's the exact same thing. If you need to lie about yourself to get women to talk to you, maybe you shouldn't be dating. No man is entitled to a woman. Yeah. This is ridiculous. I'm getting strong incel vibes, both from the person you replied to and up. Using an AI dating bot is so incredibly disrespectful that it isn't even funny. Is it lying to send some witty responses you used online to help think of? If you think too hard about your response and don't go with your first gut response, is that lying too? This isn't black and white. And no one said we are entitled to women. Projection much? Where did I say anything about entitlement? I mean, what's wrong with using AI to jazz up your messages? Assuming the content of the messages weren't lies, like saying he was 6 feet 4 inches, I don't see a problem. Further, how is it any different from a woman using makeup on a date? Is that a lie, too? How is using makeup at all similar? I think you should analyze why you date people in the first place if you're having opinions like this. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. The guy is saying use a tool to try to get more responses from girls. What does that have to do with why he dates people? No one is saying use the AI forever, maybe the first conversation or two to spice things up. Everyone acts differently when you first meet. That's just natural to put on your best behavior. But it's not your best behavior, is it? It's someone else's. In Op's case, he's pretty vague about how long he actually used the AI. If it was the first couple messages, like 5 max, then yeah, I agree. Wrong, but not the end of the world. But if it was the first couple days or weeks of conversation, then that's pretty fucked up. If he is sending the messages, then that is his behavior. Where he got the inspiration from, the AI, is wrong or not is the discussion. Really, the way he used it matters in my opinion. If he was auto-feeding the messages into the bot with the replies automatically going back, then I can see that's messed up. But more likely he was using the AI to get an idea of what to say and was changing it slightly to match his actual thoughts and make the intent match his own. I agree with using the AI as inspiration. I still think it's a bit strange, but I don't think anyone would mind someone getting want amounts to advice on what to say. But I don't think that's what happened here. Maybe I need to reread the post, but it sounded to me like he was completely hands-off and let the AI do almost everything, which I think warrants the response from his partner. Hiding blemishes and flaws, accentuating certain features while diminishing others. Makeup can do a lot of work to boost a woman's attractiveness. But it's kind of a lie, isn't it? I'm not saying I have a problem with women wearing makeup. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of people being upset with Op using AI to enhance his messages and get his foot in the door, while women do the same with makeup and filters. Your comment heavily implies that any man on a dating app deserves to find a date with a woman, regardless of whether any women are interested in him. That's why I use the word entitled. I hope you can see the difference between changing your physical appearance and using an AI to generate thoughts for you. Well, you're not wrong at all. 99% of app dating is recycled bios and pickup lines that people see online and send themselves. But the inept Reddit mob that doesn't understand the first thing about AI except they hate it will criticize using it and not think twice of Google or copying openers. Dude just called himself out and says we're inept. What a nonsense reply that doesn't address anything I said. It's easily verifiable. There's an uneducated hate boner for AI right now. I'm not going to claim I'm an expert. I'm aware that AI has many positive and practical applications. I personally think its potential in medical is especially promising. But I would argue that you don't know much about AI if you can't foresee the potential harm in it as well, though you don't really have to since it's already had detrimental consequences in varying ways since its emergence. I would double down on the argument that you don't know anything about AI if you were to tell me that it should be talking to women for you. I'd also question how much you really knew about women. Yes, dating apps are shallow. They are tools that gamify human relationships, but the reason we use them is for the promise of the humanity at the other end. Someone we find something beautiful with. Or maybe you're just looking to get laid. That's okay too. Just don't be a prick. But dating apps aren't going to work most of the time for most people. They're not supposed to. Can you imagine? What would happen to the world if everyone ages 18 plus were fucking all their matches all the time? With 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week? Nothing would get done. I've already matched with this woman, so she must have liked what she saw. Some people will like you just being you. Others won't. And that's a good thing because they probably won't waste your time. But Op wasted her time by pretending he valued her enough to actually try to connect with her. I don't know her, but I'm willing to bet that she will. Do you like to spend her time on someone who did value her enough to try to connect with her? I feel insane defending why using artificial intelligence to form a loving bond with someone is at the very least weird and off-putting. Also, no, I do see the problem with Googling pickup lines. Googling pickup lines is sad. And again, another attempt at feigning a connection based on the assumption that women can be hacked into liking you. Also, before anybody asks, Andrew Tate should be considered an artificial intelligence, so don't go there for wisdom on women either. Counterpoint. It takes a lot of time and trouble to get past the initial hurdle of getting someone's attention on the apps. If the computer, which is dealing with the selection of potentials put before you by another computer, can make that initial virtual meeting easier, then is it really wrong to use it? Think about it. A computer serves up singles profiles for you to sift through. It doesn't provide all of them, only those it thinks might be a reasonable potential match. Your choices are already being determined by one computer. Why not use another to find out who from among that pool are actually interested in talking? Experience has shown that many are not. Because the person on the other end is under the impression they are talking to another person, and they are getting a feel for what this person is like. Think about how dangerous dating can be for women, and then think about how they might feel if they discovered that the man they thought they were talking to hasn't actually displayed any personality and is instead using an AI to present a certain way. You said without it, some women may not even notice. If they matched you, they already noticed. And if it ends there, then it wasn't meant to be anyway. It's no judgment on you because the person doesn't even know you and didn't get to. I would rather have that outcome than trick them into being interested. How do you figure that a bot can come up with something more original than you? It doesn't need to be perfect, and again, if it doesn't work out, that's just how it goes the majority of the time. Most of the times I used dating apps and had matches, they didn't go anywhere because we both learned after the initial matching that we don't really have the same sense of humor or like the same things. I wouldn't want to waste my time having those people think, oh, they're interested in me. And if I thought I couldn't get there on my own, then why would I think a relationship with the person would be any different? Are we expected to read that? Go get ChatGPT to give you a summary for all I care. GPT says they agree, so thumbs up. Okay, now go talk to a woman and see if they agree, thumbs up. I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though, or sorry that happened. Did he type too many words? Or do you have too short an attention span? *******. He typed a typhoon of nonsense with radically stupid opinions like using pickup lines is bad and dating apps shouldn't work because society would collapse from everyone having sex. He's an idiot. You would only know that if you'd read it, which you stated you weren't going to do. Look at all the salty downvote. Only dating is all trash. And if you don't hook them instantly, they are gone. Op should have kept that secret to his grave. I hate my gender, male. I'd rather be my honest self even if it's dull and not very witty than be deceiving and having to resort to an AI to get a relationship, which is frankly just embarrassing. My 2 cents. It's brought me success so far. Yeah, you would because you have had success with it. What do you say to the 4/10 male who gets one match every day or two and most of the time they don't respond unless he's particularly witty? Hook them instantly? Are you talking about fish? I thought we were talking about dating. Have you used dating apps? Yes, of course. Or at least wait until much later in the relationship. Much later. Remove. But man, you don't need to be cooler. Once she got to know you, she'd know you. And if she didn't give you the time of day because she assumed you weren't cool, or someone she might like because she was too busy judging you, would you want to be with someone like that anyway? Even relationships that have honesty can fail. But it's absolutely not going to work if you're not being yourself. And nothing is further from yourself than an AI. You want a harsh reality check? You describe this girl as basically perfect, and describe yourself as someone who didn't have anything interesting to offer to stand out. How horrible for her. Yeah, you might think you were winning, but did she deserve to be stuck with you? Asterisk, in what world, asterisk, do you think that the correct move is to trick the girl rather than to put in the work to have some intrigue like they do? This isn't a Disney movie plot where your only competition is the village. Asshole, and you get to use deception and lying about your resume or heritage and hope she sees the real you is better than that guy. There are plenty of real, eligible candidates, and you've wasted her time and played with her emotions. She fell for words from something pretending to be a human. Poor girl must be traumatized that her initial emotions that she projected onto you were for a bot. This is the real world, where there are and always will be someone better than you at every little thing, and dating comes down to two people making a level-headed decision that they mutually like what is available. If you weren't enough to win her over on your own, you were doing her a disservice by tricking her. Be better. Edit. LMAO, what incel downvoted this? It better not be you. Social skills can be learned. Use this as a learning experience. Keep using LLMs, but don't copy-paste. Try to find things about yourself that you love. You need to understand the things you're good at in a relationship, and that's your worth. You don't have to be the coolest. Be vulnerable with your feelings. Emotionally available. Keep your promises, and communicate, and you will find someone. This is exactly like that South Park episode. You were disingenuous with your initial conversations with her. It's good you came clean, and maybe you won't make the same mistake with the next one. And by that I mean, don't use AI to try to make emotional connections with people. Greater than won't make the same mistake. Well, he won't make the mistake of telling her anyway. People who need an AI bot to talk to women aren't going to learn the right lessons, lol. Oh, for sure. This is 100% a case of learning the wrong lesson. Or alternatively, use AI but take that secret to your grave. Well, to be very fair, in a way, you did lie about your identity, and verify that you're not the person she fell for. I mean, obvi, I hope you two can talk it out. But I can definitely see how doing that could be considered by her as an even more dishonest version of catfishing. But at least internet catfish actually talk to you instead of feed your convo into a separate AI on the side and regurgitate like you're trying to cheat in an online chess match. I don't. It's weird AF to use an AI bot to chat with someone. Hopefully she never talks to him again. It's so disrespectful to her, it's not even funny. Yeah, this tech nerd thought he had dating all figured out, lol. And yet, it worked until he opened his mouth. On top, but after messing it all up, can tech bro win back the love of his life? Asterisk 80s synth music, montage of mullet tech bro and his nerd friends doing quirky hacker shit and failing hilariously. This summer, a modern romance emerges from the World Wide Web with Jennifer Connelly and No One Really Cares What We All Send. Love bites. Asterisk 80s music fades. Okay, fuck it. When's it coming out? Theaters or Netflix? It's been out for 38 years. Basically weird science. Damn, time to load my trusty, legal streaming service. Giphy, 108 HQJSUYJLHFW. Should have learned how women worked, and he could have kept that close to his chest. Instead, he used AI. It's hard to learn how women work, though, when you don't even personally talk to them. But rather, relegate that boring stuff to the automated machines to do it. If I was her, I wouldn't talk to Op again either. Women are just normal people. You're telling me two male best mates would be perfectly happy all the stuff one guy has said was all lies? Men who can't talk to women are either too nervous or just misogynistic. Yeah, to me this is an example of someone who thinks too highly of themselves and too lowly of others. Let's be real. Someone pulling this would not be able to do that.